All right. Okay. So this is ITS 148, March 28th, um, and we're back from spring break. Okay. And so you should have all turned in your midterms by now, and if you have any 16, I guess there's about 16 people in the class. And we are still in chapter 12. We're just ending chapter 12 today. And chapter 12 is on classes, on how to make classes and so on. I sort of covered, I tried to cover the exercise in the end of the chapter last time, I think. I'm not sure how clear I was, but I've created an assignment now. And the assignment is very similar to that. Here it is. It's this inventory item class. It's very similar to the assignment in the back of the chapter. And so, you know, there are these, there's the customer maintenance and inventory, and there's these rolling problems or scenarios that this textbook uses. And so I'd like to, so instead of just going over, you know, very closely how to do this assignment, I'd like to just go over very closely how to do the assignment in the back of the chapter again and go through it in a way that should help you quite easily do this assignment. So why don't I first pull up this assignment, assignment 8, assignment 7, I mean. And so if we pull it up, it's you know, I should have attached it down. I should have attached this thing down at the bottom. Let me just go to resources. It is in chapter exercises, number 12, and it is this inventory maintenance zip here. I'm going to put this on the desktop, and I'm going to open it up, but I'm also going to attach it back down here just to make it easier for you to find. All right, so let me see what this looks like when you are, from what it looks like from your perspective. La Lima, and let me log in. So you should see it looking like this: assignments and assignment 7, and okay, so in this assignment, we've got this application called inventory maintenance, and basically we've got a bunch of inventory here. Looks like these are flowers or something, and we can add a new one. So you click on add item here, and this right here pops up, and you're able to add an item. Click save, and you're also able to click on one of these items and click delete item, and this one pops up here. This here pops up, and you're able to say yes or no. And so you start. Wait, I'm not sharing my screen, am I? Sorry. Did anybody try to tell me that? No. All right, so now I'm sharing my screen. Sorry. So this is the assignment. We're on ITS 148. Look at assignments. If you look at assignments, we have this 7th assignment here, inventory item class, which is very similar to the assignment in the back of the book, the exercise in the back of the chapter. we can actually look resources, chapter exercises, chapter 12. Yeah, here we go. This one. This one. It's very similar to this one here. And so I kind of went through this one last time, but I'm going to go through it again, and I'm going to go through it in a way that sort of parallels how you will be doing this assignment, this inventory maintenance assignment. So let me open up the inventory maintenance assignment. Let me unzip this and open this up, and this is what it looks like. Log in here. Sign in. And in this assignment, if we look at the assignment itself, I'm going to download this one too. Get that later. Look at this, the assignment that I've just assigned you. We have this inventory maintenance screen here, which looks like this. Looks like this. It's got a list of items. And then we're able to add a new item, and that looks like this. So they give you this, and they give you this. And this third thing, confirmation, delete, that pops up. It's similar to the, that's just a show dialog box that doesn't need to require, it doesn't require you to create a new form. It's just a yes, no dialog box. So it's similar to this. I'm going to get rid of this. It's similar to the exercise that we do here. So I'd like to go through this exercise here slowly and sort of emphasize what needs to be done. You know, this sort of the problem sort of parallels the assignment. If we look at the assignment, what we need to do is, if I go through it here, let me just go through it again here. We start by opening up the project, and then we review the existing code for both of the forms so you get an idea of how the application works. And so if we do that, we've got this first form here, which is, and if you look at the code for it, we've got, you know, the thing starts up, and this is the load handler, and what it does is it goes out and it grabs the list of items that's already sitting there. There's this, it comes with this item inventory item database, which is someplace, which is available, and this this class is this is already done and complete, so you don't have to do anything with this class. The reason there's squiggly lines there is because you have not yet defined this inventory item class, which is something that you have to add. But once that's added, then these red squiggly lines will go away, and this method, this database class here, works fine. And then we have this this form here, and the this is the code behind, and this, what we do have to do is add code here which goes and grabs the list from the database, and then here we're gonna fill the list box, which is this list box here. We're gonna fill it up. That's too bad. We need new computers. It's a little frustrating. This method fills the list box, and we have to fill in the code for that. When we click on this add button here, that invokes this event handler here. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pop up the other form. We're going to pop up this form, and then this form sort of takes over and waits until we enter in the three properties here: the item number, a description, and a price. And if we look at the code for that, this is just the statement here which declares the inventory item and the method that gets and returns the item. When we click the save button, it validates it. The validator is given to us over here. We already have that code. That's fine code. We don't have to touch that. And here it is. And so once this button is clicked, the data fields are filled in by the user, and so we can just grab them out of the text boxes, and they get stored into the object, and the object is an inventory item, and we have to create that class. That's the thing we have to create in its entirety. And then this is the isValid method that's going to use this validator class. That's what this is here, to make sure that all of the fields that the user filled in are correct, and then there's a cancel here. And so so let's so I'm going to open up, let me find downloads. This is customer maintenance. I'm going to put this on the desktop. And so we go to the desktop, and I'm going to open this up and start this up. All right, now so we have the same sort of problem here. We've got customers. We've got this customer form. We can add a customer, delete a customer, and exit, just like the inventory maintenance here, where we can add an inventory item, delete an inventory item, or exit. And then there's add a new customer form. We got a first name, last name, and an email address. Similar to this one, we've got a item number, a description, and a price. Save button. And inside, we've got a validator here. Got a validator, and we've got a database which is already filled in and working, and we need to create this customer class. And this customer class defines, it's a template for an object, and the object represents a customer. In the assignment, the inventory maintenance assignment, we've got this class which represents an object. Which you're able to create, instances of an inventory item. In this customer program, we are able to create an instance of a customer, or an object which represents a customer. And so, so if we go to the, so if we follow what it has here in this assignment, in the back of the chapter here, we'll just go through this. Let me make it a little bit bigger. So we start out by opening it, and the first thing we're going to do is add a class. We're going to create a new class called customer, and excuse me, and so it's going to have these properties: first name, last name, email. There you go. First name, last name, email. And it's going to have a method in there to display something out. And there's going to be a constructor here that we'll use, which we're able to just call this constructor with these arguments already: first name, last name, email, and it'll create a new object with these properties already filled in. And this add customer form will return that object when you click the save button. The user has filled all this stuff in, click the save button, and it will return that object back to this form, this code here, which is here. And here we actually have to fill in a bunch of code. So this exercise 12-1, we actually have to do more, because when we get it, it doesn't have anything in here. Whereas you'll notice that with this assignment, when we get this assignment, it's got it has a little bit more for us to, it's got these sort of code template here that's got more there to help us complete it. So the first thing we're going to do is create this class. So to create the class, create this customer class. That's the first thing we're going to do. So over here, let's click over here, do a right click, and we're going to create add. We can just go down and add a class, and let's name it customer.cs, and here it is. And so the first thing we're going to do is, first of all, make it a public class. It's like that. And then inside there is where we type in all of our stuff, type in all of our the class members, properties, and methods. And we're going to start out by creating some private variables there to store our properties. We're going to make a private string: first name, last name, and email address. And then so that's that. And then next, oops, inside there, we're going to create these two constructors. We're going to create a constructor where you don't have to put in any arguments. If you don't put in any arguments, it creates like an empty object, and then you have to fill them in by doing assignments to properties. So that's always going to be there. So let's start by creating that one. A public. It's going to be a public constructor, and it's just going to be called customer. It's the name of the class, and it's simply empty like that. So it just creates a blank object. We're also going to create a constructor here where you can enter in specified values. And so it looks the same, except for it's got the arguments there. Public, customer, and we're going to have it, you're going to be able to enter a first name, a last name, and an email address. And all that's going to do is it's going to take those values, take these values, and I don't know why it's capitalized. It's going to stick them in here. Let's see. Why is that? Well, to access these, I'm going to come back here and fill those in later, because I want to first enter in the mechanisms by which we store values in there. And so these would be used if we were to create an object using the blank constructor here. So to access these properties, first we have we public string, and we generally use capital letters here. First name, this is how you access it, and we have a get, which simply returns this internal private variable here, first name, and we're going to have a set. This is how you assign it, and first name equals this value, this default value that comes in here. And so when this thing is called, then if you're assigning it to something, then the set is invoked, and the value that's on the other side of the equal sign, the right side of the equal sign, gets stored into this variable here, which is this variable here. So that's for first name. We could do the same thing for last name. And that's going to be also a get, return, last name, and set to assign the last name, default value here. And same thing for email, public string email, and get, return email, set email equals value. Okay, so this is how you assign, how you would either assign these values or read them back out again. And so when you want to create a new object of this class type, and you want to pass specified values, so if you want to do it all at once, you call this constructor here, and what this constructor will do is it will assign this first name equal to this first name that comes in. and it'll assign this last name equal to the last name coming in, and it'll assign this email equal to the email coming in. So when this is called by some other method someplace else in one of these other classes here, and this is called, then this assignment statement basically invokes this method here, which takes this first name and assigns it to this value, which in other words, this thing is called, and this here makes this thing execute. This value comes in, which comes in from the right side of this assignment statement, and gets written into this, gets assigned into this property here, which is by way of this method or this code here, and it is in this code here where this value here gets assigned. So it's kind of a roundabout way. It's sort of something you just need to sort of learn how this works, and after that you're able to replicate it or copy it. The last thing we want, so that's what this is. So this gets or sets the string that contains the customer's first name. That's this property here, and this for the last name and the email. The last thing we need is this method here, which will display, which will just return a string, which will display out what the customer's name and email address is, you know, in this format here. And so that's simply public string get display text, and we can use this notation here, which just returns first name plus space plus last name plus and then comma plus email. And so when this method is called, it's going to return this. Now, if we were to be doing our assignment along with this over here, we would you know, click on inventory maintenance, do a right click, add a new class. And in this case, we're adding a class called yes, INVITEM. INVITEM. And this thing pops up, and same kind of thing. We're gonna create these 3 private properties here. Let me might as well do this along with it. Yeah, right here. And so we're going to create a private item number. No, string, private string item number, a private string description, and private string, no, private decimal price. And then we're going to create these constructors down here, which is public INVITEM, simply that. And then we're going to create the one which You know, I don't think that these are supposed to be. I'm sorry, I don't think these are supposed to be this way. I think these are just the same as these up here. I think the notes are wrong. But let me well, let's just finish this and see. All right. It might not matter. It might not matter. Okay, so all right, so so that's that. This is public INVITM, and then we're going to have some parameters here. It's going to be item number, string, item number, string description, string of decimal price. And we want to, this item number equals item number. This description equals description. And this price equals price. And then we need to do the same thing for these, to access the properties, the gets and the sets, public, I'm sorry, item number is an integer. Sorry, I can fix that. Public, integer, item number, get, return item number lowercase, set item number equals value. Okay, so that's for item number, and we do the same thing for string for the for description and price. Description is a string, description, and so it's return description, and string equals, or description equals value, and do the same thing for price, public decimal capital price, get return price lowercase, set price equals value, and then we do the same thing again for get display text. Same method name works. Public string get display text. This notation here. Item number plus, I think, like a tab. The spaces here. Plus description plus quote parentheses end quote plus price toString with the formatting of this currency formatting plus and then an end parentheses. Doesn't like. Instead of using this equal greater than notation, it's suggesting that we use this other kind of way of writing it out, which is either way works. Okay, so this here is the class for the new items, just as we've created this class here for customer. And so in our little problem over here, we've added a class named customer to this project, and we've used the lambda operator. Use the lambda, that's this thing, the lambda operator. So when we've completed the customer class, okay, so I haven't figured out how to use this class diagram yet. It's not, I don't believe it's implemented on this version of Visual Studio, so I'm just going to skip that part. So next we're going to add code to implement the add customer form. Okay, so that's this. So we should implement the code for this first. We've created this customer class, and then we're going to create, and then we're going to fill in the code that will actually create a new instance of a customer from this code. And once we've done that, then we can go to this main form and use this add customer form to be invoked when you click this add button here. So let's fill in the code for this thing. And so that would be in, let me just click view code. And there's not really too much here. What does it say? Display the code for the add customer form and declare a class variable named customer of type customer, capital, with an initial value of null. Okay, so underneath here, right here, we can create a private type customer. We just created that class, so we're going to create an object of this class type, and we're going to name it lowercase customer, and we're going to say that's null. And then add a public method named getNewCustomer that displays the form as a dialog box and returns a customer object. So so this is a public method. It's a method here which will pop up this thing. It'll pop up this thing, and this thing will be sitting there in front of the user, and it sits there until the user clicks the save button. And presumably, before the user hits the save button, the user has filled in this data here. So if we go here, we're going to create a how to pop that up. We go public. This is the method to do that. Customer. It's a class type customer, and it's the method name is it's going to return a object of this capital customer type, and we're going to name this thing get new customer. And to show this dialog box, we say this show dialog, and once this thing returns to us then it'll, when this thing is done, when it's done showing the dialog box, presumably because the save button has been clicked and the dialog box disappears, then there will be a customer object which will be filled in below, and that's what we return. So we will return this customer object that that is going to be this value, which will be filled in when we click the Save dialog box. So that's what we do next. Add an event handler for the click event of the Save button that validates the data on the form using the methods of the validator class. So with the validator class here, it's going to make sure that we somebody enters where the text boxes are filled in. There aren't any decimals, are there? Aren't any decimals. We're not going to use that. We're not going to use this. Not going to use this. We're going to use is valid email. Okay, so we're just going to use is valid email, and we're going to use is present. Is present. So there's some stuff in this validator class that we don't need, which is fine. All right, so this button here, double click on that, and that starts up the save button event handler. And in the save button event handler, we're going to make sure the stuff is valid, and we can just do let's create the is valid event handler first. Private Boolean is valid data. And what the is valid data is going to do is going to say if, I'm going to do it this way, if validator is present txt first name, so there has to be a first name there. Let's just confirm the names of these. This text box is named txt first name, as you see over here. This text box is named txt last name, and this text box is named txt email. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. So there's got to be something. It's got to be something in each of them, and there also has to be the email has to be valid. Where's validator? Validator. So we do validate email, don't we? Here we do validate email. Okay. So we're going to do if it's present and validator is present txt last name and validator is present. Let's just make sure the email is there. txt email, txt, and validator is valid email, txt email, text. If all that's true, then we will return true, else return false. Okay, so that's our is valid data. So let's go up and finish this. If is valid data, then we can create a new instance of customer using the data, using txt first name, txt last name, and txt email. Create a new instance. Okay, so basically we're going to use this one here. So we're gonna assign this thing, customer is equal to new customer, this new class that we've created before, and we're going to pass in these values. We're basically going to use this one, creates a customer object using specified values. So the first thing we're going to do is just pass in the first name, and we're going to pass in the last name, txt last name, and txt email. And so so all this does is the guy clicks the save button, and all the fields have been filled in properly. Then we're just going to create a new instance of a customer object with these specified values, and that's what this is going to be set equal to, which is this up here, which is also a customer object. When we initialized it to null, but this actually assigns a value to it, and then that's what this value is set to. And once the save button is clicked, then this dialog box goes away, and there is a valid value for this customer, and that's what's returned. So that is returned to whoever called this, and whoever called it is going to be in here. That's what called it. So that takes care of that. We have to add a close thing here. So let me double click on this close. So that's the cancel. All right, why is that? Right. Ooh. No. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, because we're passing in an actual. Yeah. Let's look at that. Make sure. Yeah, these are we pass in a text box, not a text value, but an entire text box. So yes, that's right. Absolutely right. There. All right. So it's 2:45. We're to go back to this. We could do the same thing for this thing, which is item. Add a statement that creates the inventory item. So that is the same as this. So that would be right here, and that could be something like private INV ITEM, lowercase v ITEM equals null. And here we want to pop up the dialog box, pop this up. So it does the same way. We do public INV item get new item. That's what we're going to call it. And it's just going to be this show dialog and return invitem, because that's going to be created already. And here's the save button. Click is valid is the same thing. We have to, that's all filled in here. We filled that in already. And right here we just do inv item equals new inv item, and this is the we're going to use this one, create an inventory item object with specified values. So the specified values are going to be, first of all, we want to, the first thing is going to be the ID number, the integer ID number. So we got to do a convert to int 32 is fine. txt item number text. So that's going to convert that. And the next parameter is going to be just the text description, text. And the third item is going to be convert to decimal, to decimal, txt price dot text. And closing the form is just going to be this close. Did I close this other one? Oh, return customer. Wait a second. Oops, no, wait a minute. Oh, no, never mind. Oh, here. I got to close this. Okay. Okay, so that fills that in. And all the rest of the stuff, this is all filled in already. So we've taken care of that. Let's go back to this here now, and let's go back to here. Add an event handler, click the save button, validates, okay, done that. Add event handler, cancel, okay, we've done that. Add code to implement the customer maintenance form. Okay, so we go down to the customer maintenance form. That's done with this, done with this. Here we are, the customer maintenance form, and that is this. So it's this one. And display the code for the, and then declare a class variable. Okay, the list. So we have a list of customers. And so the first thing we do is we want to, there's going to be, we're going to create a private list of type customer. And we're going to call it customers, lowercase, and we're going to first of all initialize it to null, and then we're going to display. Okay, did that. Null. Add an event handler for the load event of the form that uses the get customers method. So we need the load event handler. So let's go back to the form and double click out here someplace, double click. And now we've got this load event handler. And what that's going to do is it's going to use this the get customers from here, get customers, which goes out and reads, stream reader, reads them up, and reads them up into this list and returns, it returns a list, it returns this list here. So that's going to be customers, that's this thing we declared up above, customers equals customer db dot get customers. So it calls that method. It's going to return a list of customers, and then we're going to have a method here which fills up, which takes that list of customers and loads them up into the list box. Loads them up into, oops, not that one. Loads them up into this list box called LST customers. So so let's create that. Private, doesn't return anything. Fill customer list box. First of all, it's going to clear it. This customer's items clear. And then for each customer C in this list of customers, for each one of those, add it to the list box. And we're going to use this display text method to load them up. So that's what the format's going to be. So once we have this fill customer list box here, that's what we want to do after we get the list from the database. So fill customer list box. So if I'm going to see what happens when we run this. There's no customers in there. No, I didn't load it up with any customers. I wonder if there's something to do with what's in here. Oh. I gotta figure out where my customer list is. Well, I can do that later. Anyway, at least there wasn't an error. Should be on the desktop. Well, anyway, I'll have to figure out how to fix that. But so so anyway, we have to add the delete. I tell you what, I'll do the delete probably next time. But if we go back to inventory maintenance now, and we look at get new item. Is it because it's not? It's because it's not called by anything. let me get item. Get. Yeah. Um, form in that form private void huh? Oh, this. Oh, this.
Yeah.
Does that fix it?
Yeah, because it's private by default.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. All right. Oh yeah, okay. All right, well anyway, I'm just gonna stop now, save everything, and continue next time, okay? So let me just save all this stuff. Save all. Close. Save all. Close. And I can close this. Yeah. And I want to take these two things and put them down here in my thaw space. Chapter 12. I'll make a new directory called Chapter 12. New folder. Chapter 12. And inside Chapter 12, I'm going to put this and this and this and this. I'll put all four of these things in here. All right, well, I didn't finish, but I'll finish next time. All right, so we will finish this on Tuesday. Thanks for watching.